Hey guys, Mr. Zanakis here. Just wanted to show you how to get started with Google Sites to create your digital online portfolio for Project Lead the Way. So go ahead to Google, open up in tab in Chrome, and go click on the waffle and go right to Sites. So the interface is very similar to all the Google platform stuff that you're used to seeing, and it integrates nicely with a lot of the things that we're going to be using. So once you create multiple sites or someone shares their site with you, they would all show up here. I don't have any shown here. So we're going to want to create a new one. So we're going to create one, a blank one here, but I also just wanted to show you there's a couple different templates. You can click on this template gallery and look at a couple more. But for what we're going to be doing and with the customization that you can do, I think it's just as easy, to be honest with you, just go ahead and start with a blank one. All right, so as it comes up, you're going to want to label your site right here. I'm just going to go ahead and put Mr. Zanakis, PLTW portfolio. Okay. And you can go ahead and title it whatever you want. You have the option to change the font style, the font itself. There are also themes over here. So let's just go ahead and change this to say PLTW digital portfolio. Okay, portfolio. All right. So we're going to go ahead and drag this text. You have the ability to manipulate this somewhat. It's not as customizable as a completely clean build website, but for our purposes, it's pretty good, and it makes it a little bit easier to interface. Maybe I want to go ahead and add in here, Mr. Okay, so let's go ahead and change that font. I don't want that to be 11. Let's say 36. Again, let's center this text. And Mr. Zanakis. Again, however you want to do this is totally up to you. It's your website, okay? So make it about you and customize to you, but it should have a professional feel. It's not just a website that, that you would want to just only put personal stuff on here. What it really is representing is a professional portfolio of your work that you're going to do over the next 4 years here in the Project Lead the Way program. You can go over here into themes. There's lots of different themes. So you can just click around and play with this. Again, this is all about customizing to something that you like. You can go ahead and change the image here. So click on change the image. You can upload an image if you have something that you want to load on your computer that you took a picture of. Like here's a Seneca project logo, Project Lead the Way logo that we'll use in a second. But you can also go ahead and select an image from the internet. So they have some standard ones that you can use as your backdrop. Let's go ahead and select this guy, see how that looks. All right, it's looking good so far. You can add a logo here. Let's go ahead and add a logo. So let's upload this guy. All right, so I got the nice little Seneca logo there. Okay, so what do we want to do? We want to add context. So far we just have a header, all right? And if you go back to here to insert, this is where you can have all the different various features that you want on any individual page. Now, right now, this is your home page. This is the main landing page, all right? So you're going to want to use this to kind of talk about who you are or what Project Lead the Way is about. It should be a general landing page. We're going to create multiple pages. Okay, so why don't we go ahead and create the pages that I think at a minimum, these are the things you want to actually create. So click on pages and we're going to click the add button. And so we are in freshman year, IED. And let's create another one for SOPH or ES for environmental sustainability. Come back to here, you can see these pages are being created separately. And junior is POE. Again, these are just creating pages for you that you'll build out. And you're creating the framework. We're ultimately going to be working this year in freshman IED But I wanted to show you how to do these options with these pages. Okay, so go ahead and add another one, and we will add for senior year EDD. Engineering Design Development is what that stands for. Okay, so you can click on Freshman IED, and instead of leaving it as Freshman IED, let's change this to Introduction to Engineering, which is the full title. And instead of this image, let's go ahead and change that. So let's change the image. Let's select the image, go out and look. Let's do a search. Let's do, I don't know, gears. Let's see what we get for gears. This one looks pretty cool. Double click or click and select. All right, so we have Intro to Engineering right there. Let's go back to our themes and let's do, again, these are different fonts. I don't like the yellow. How about the green? Let's look at darker green, maybe something like that. Okay, what does it look like at home? Home page. Still looks okay. Again, lots of different things you can do for just customization of what it's going to look like. All right, so you have each of these different links. Kind of don't like that text. It's a little hard to read. I think that's a little bit bolder there, a little bit easier to read. Okay, so going back to Intro to Engineering, again, these you can fill out later. That ES stands for Environmental Sustainability, Principles of Engineering, and EDD is Engineering Design Development. Okay, so here on our home page, let's go back to the insert the information. All right, so what do I want to put here? Well, ultimately, you can do a text box. If you just double click in any one area, you get the shortcut of adding a text box, pulling in something from Google Drive, uploading something from your hard drive or your computer, loading an image, which is all the same things you have over here on the right-hand side. All right, so there's different layout tabs depending on what you want to do. Let's go back to pages for a second. So, well, actually, this one could be about us, right? This should be about you. Maybe you want to use this. So click here. You can add a picture and say, you know, about me. And then have some text here that you want to add. It talks about something about you and who you are. What are your goals? What are your interests? Maybe put a cool picture that you like. You could choose something like this if you wanted to put something below here. Maybe there's 3 different content topics that you want to talk about here on this landing page. It's totally up to you. Maybe you want to embed a link, or even down here, you can find that there is a button. Okay, so if I click this button, we'll say project lead the way. All right, so maybe this is something that you want to highlight. And for a link, let's go out to and actually get the URL for Project Lead the Way. Project Lead the Way. Okay, land on their homepage, and you can drop this in since we're talking about a Project Lead the Way digital portfolio. If you wanted to, okay, Control V, paste that in there, insert, and now I have this Project Lead the Way button that I can place wherever I want. Okay, so you have to be careful and you got to play around with it, but there's lots of different things you can do here. You can add this link. Now, when you go to preview up here, you can see this is what it'll look like on an actual website. You can see with this button here, we click on the button, now it takes us actually to Project Lead the Way homepage. Okay, so pretty powerful stuff. You can see this is what it would look like on a tablet. Here's what it would look like on a phone if you're on a mobile phone. All right, so we can get out of the preview, bring us back to here. Okay, so there's lots of different options here. So what we were talking about here is the layout of the things that you want. But ultimately, what are we trying to do with this? We're trying to document our work and have a way to showcase it. And we're going to work and we're going to create some additional pages under this freshman IED. All right, so let's go ahead and add some additional pages for underneath IED. So we go to pages. Let's add another page. Let's create a sketching page. And let's create another page and we'll call this design challenges. Okay, so rather than having them all up here, it's not what I really want to do. What I want to do is actually put it underneath of freshman IED. So if I can click and drag and hold on sketching, place it on top of freshman IED, it actually is a subset page to freshman IED. And I want to do the same thing with design challenges. Okay, and I want to actually move the order of this in front of that. So it's sketching and then design challenges. And now I can click right on freshman IED and it takes me to this page, or I can actually click the little down arrow and then go to the design challenges page. Again, all of these headers and banners are customizable. You could adjust the header type. Maybe here I only want the title. It goes right to design challenges. It's up to you what you want to do. All right, so I can come down here and you can actually add slides, but let's go ahead and create a layout here that we're going to want to use. So, you know what? Let's just do it as a straight up, just drop it on here and see how it makes out with that. So let's go to slides. And this pulls up our Google Slides. So we have, here's the design challenge design that I put together as the example. Okay, so I can make this as big or as small as I want. And maybe then I want to put a text box in over here. Okay, so there's different things you can do. Going back to our home page, you can place a YouTube link. Okay, it can be a link or an actual embedding of a file, right? So let's click YouTube. For physics, here you guys, physics video here. Let's see what we got. Inclined planes. All right, so you have right there, you can have a video if you wanted something. There's lots of things you guys can do here to customize it. It's pretty easy to do. You just have to spend the time to play around and figure out what the different options and things you want. Now, once you have everything the way that you want and you're ready to go, what you want to do is publish it. By the way, when you want to share, you can have a collaborator on an individual page or a website. But you can share this just the same as any of the other Google documents that we have. So when you go to hit publish, okay, it's going to give you a standard web address, but really you're going to have to track it with the link, okay? And anyone at the regional, so this is the default, is going to be that anybody at Lenape Regional can have access to this with the link, okay? They can find it. But your parents then wouldn't be able to see it, and you wouldn't be able to share with them without them having to be a Lenape login credentials. So if you want to, what you can do is hit manage and then change this link. Instead of published only to Lenape Regional access, change this to public. Okay, so when you publish it, the site becomes public and anyone on the internet can find it and search it and open it. Okay, so if you want to share it with people outside, like your parents or family or whatever, your friends, even if they're not in school, you need to make it public. Just remember that this is out there on the internet and it's public. Okay, so As long as you're doing things that you should be doing, you're in good shape. So you can hit done, and then you have the option to share this and go ahead and click publish. And then it is up on the internet. It might take a little bit of time to make its way fully out there so that you can search it and find it, but the link is what you're going to want to use. And so preview, this is what it'll actually look like when we get to it. And here we are. Okay, and then your YouTube is live, and you can always expand that, let it play in the actual video itself. Okay, if you go to your design challenges, right, you right from your website, you can fully launch this, you can play it, you can slide through it, step through it, and bring you back just by hitting escape, and you're back to your overall website. All right, so that's a quick crash course through Google Sites, and I want you to go ahead and be creative, but you need to dive into it and just play around with it. Make sure you make all these tabs and these two underneath Freshman IED. Fill a little bit of information about who you are on the front homepage, and we'll go from there.